So your name is Toews, but yet you dropped the W for your business name. There's got to be a story.
Yeah, that's correct. So obviously Toews, I mean, I got picked on a lot as a kid, with my name, but it really drew people just to think about it. When I came up with trying to start my business, it was really about walking people into the cloud. I had so many different pronunciations. There's Jonathan Toews with the Blackhawks, which is spelled the same way. So I really wanted to just, people to think of that mindset of how we get to one place. And it was really that guided walk into cloud services, communications, all of those things. So I was a little play on words and kind of started that out.
Step your toes in.
That's right.
I'm so sorry to ask. What did they make fun of? What they say, like, oh, Chris got toes. Like, what could they have made fun of with the name Toes?
Oh, I got Chris fingers, and you got big toes, and are your feet smelly? Yeah, kids can be terrible. So.
Oh my God, I would have been the one. Chris, toes the line.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
There we go.
So what is behind you? There looks like, is this a piece of artwork behind you? I see something.
Yeah, so it's kind of my business logo. I worked with a gentleman that's in some marketing. He was in my office space, and so we just put some things together. It's kind of similar to what you would use for signs out in your yard. You'll see real estate agents or new candidates in the government put stuff out in their yard. So he made a couple up for me just to have some ideas. So it found a place on my wall just to kind of be able to have that. And when we see it, it's also good now that we're doing so much video conferencing, people can put those two pieces together.
So with your communication, so I know that you're with Maria, you were wiring everything to get her the internet and the phone.
Correct. So really communications isn't just telephone systems, really communications is a transfer of data. So we look into that, but that obviously starts with an internet service. So for new businesses that are opening up, we can look at, your local providers. I help kind of guide people through that. I work with companies like Windstream, CenturyLink, Spectrum, Comcast, AT&T. So we set up services based upon what they're really trying to accomplish, obviously keeping price in mind and services that are going to allow you to grow. So we start off a lot of times with those kind of packages. And then we look at, what does the next forms of communication look like? What are your applications on your desktop that you're using? What are the, how are you communicating with people? Are you doing text messaging? Are you phone calls allowing you to be remote and answer, be in line with your customers? So we really try and focus on all those. I mean, technology today is just so advanced. The amount of things you can do with a communication with a phone system is just incredible. I mean, we've got direct team messaging, so you can collaborate with people doing wonderful things like these video conferences, file sharing, screen sharing. And really people, they've been around for a long time, but it was really only to the enterprise level kind of businesses. And technology and the price of these systems allow it to be available to any small business. So it really just grows how we really, talk with each other. And it's been a wonderful thing. I love helping businesses, kind of just understand where technology can take them. How do we become more proficient? How do we stay in the mainstream? How do we not overwhelm you with technology and allow you to kind of do business and slowly take in those processes? It doesn't, we can put in new phone systems that give you a lot of capability, but allow you to do business just as you've been doing business forever. It just, over time, you can start utilizing some more and more as you see those features become prevalent. They're already there and available to you. So it's a neat process.
I actually when I opened up the gallery, I made a mistake. That was the one area where I did make a mistake because I didn't have the knowledge. And so I ended up getting a phone system, which I didn't even need both of them. I didn't need all of it was like stuff I didn't need. And then it wasn't helpful. And then the problem was I was getting the Google calls like 15 times a day, and I had no way to block it or nothing I could do because I didn't have the right system. So it would have to come in. and no matter where I was at the store, I'd have to run and answer it, because to me, I thought it looked rude if a customer was in and I didn't answer, like just so hard. So yeah, I could see. And I love that you do that, the communication, but then so we've met because of your love for the nonprofit. So can you, because that's amazing, because you're so busy doing what you're doing. And then how do you handle your nonprofit part of it?
So I really enjoy giving back to the community and reaching out. I moved down here about 3.5 years ago. My mother had been diagnosed with terminal pancreatic cancer. And I'd always had, I got in restaurants, so a lot of it was fundraising. I used to do a big program up north, trying to help with the PTAs and doing fundraising nights. And, I've always enjoyed kind of giving back to the community, but it took a new role for me when I moved down here. Obviously we've met through the American Cancer Society, and, I've got established with them doing that. But, Healthy Souls International, I got the ability to go on a kind of disaster recovery. We went down to Puerto Rico and were able to help out after the earthquakes came through. And, I just love giving back to people. It really, when I got kind of having to understand what my mom was going through, it really made me reflect on life and what's important. I spent a lot of time running restaurants, working 70 hours a week, and I enjoyed that career path. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. But when I got down here, obviously with my mom's health concerns, my values changed a little bit. It was about spending time with people. It was about, the holidays and the weekends and all that stuff. And, I tried to align my business and then my outside activities, the non-for-profit help and stuff like that, to really allow that. It's great when you can make connections and when you can talk to people. Obviously, the American Cancer Society has been a big piece of mine, just with, having a family member that went through that. We did, my mom had 52 rounds of chemo at the Mayo and Bill, so she was there about every other week. So we get to see that. And during that time frame, as much as we don't want to lose anybody, we really had a lot of great times. We were able to spend time together, and she was down at the band shell. And, it was just a blessing in my life to really spend that time. And it just made me reflect. And I wanted to be part of, other people's process through that and try to give back and just, build those relationships. I could understand what family members are going through and what those friends and children and parents, I've watched my entire family, deal with that process throughout the things. She just passed away at the end of August this past year.
I read
but, as much as, it hurts and, we miss her, but, I get to feel like I'm doing something with her, being out with those people. So it's been a blessing in my life to be part of that committee and part of that group and help that process.
So you're young. What part of New York? Like when you say north, what do you mean north?
I was originally from just south of Chicago, Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, home of the Fighting Illini. So go Big Ten. But yeah, so I moved down from there. I spent my majority of my life there. Like I said, I've been down here in Ormond for about 3.5 years. I'd always wanted to get back down to Florida. I lived briefly early on in Tampa Bay. And I'm a big Buccaneers fan, but at that time I ended up, things just didn't work out the way I had anticipated, and ended up moving back home and spent the rest of my life up there. But I always knew Florida is where I wanted to be back at, and with the mom's health situation, I got an opportunity to come back down here, and it's been a blessing. We love the community. There's so much going on. I get out with my dad. We go to the car shows, and we volunteered with the bike weeks, and it's just a great community. There's so much activity in the area, and I just love being part of it. I try to help out. I'm involved with quite a few of the local chambers, and I always volunteer down at their events. And it's just great to get out and see such a good community. It's so active, and it's really been a blessing to be here.
It's so true. Your mom, actually, just to say, your mom, that is really devastating news. I mean, one thing is to hear cancer, but pancreatic is just really very, very difficult to hear. And so from the time that she was diagnosed to last August when she passed, what was the time frame?
So she ended up a little over 2.5 years.
Wow.
Her original diagnosis was 6 months, a year tops. And I truly believe that, at the time, my sister ended up moving down here with my nieces from New Jersey. My mom and dad moved down here. I moved in here, and we moved into a large house just to kind of be able to support each other and really embrace all that family time. We were a close family growing up. And, I truly think that, when they said 6 months to a year, the reason why she lasted 2.5 years was truly just because of the family. We had the granddaughters around, and she was smiling and she was active. With the warm weather, it was just a blessing to have her here. And like I said, she never stopped. I mean, whether she wasn't feeling great or not, you couldn't tell. I mean, she had a smile on her face, and we went out and did quite a bit. We experienced life, and I truly believe that's why it wasn't a 6 month prognosis. She went a little over 2.5 years. So
wow.
Really blessed that we've had that opportunity to, reconnect as a family and to spend that time together. I mean, those are memories you'll never take away.
That is really beautiful. All right, I have a question for you. So communication data, that's important, but how do you describe like the best communication? Because, I grew up in the family business, and that was my biggest complaint, was the communication. It was like just not good at all. How would you put into so it's not data driven, but just regular leadership and communication, and making sure that is like, what does that look like to you when it's not data?
Yeah. So, that's a great point. And honestly, where communication really ties in. So we need to be, everybody's different. We all have different roles in life. Some people are more desk driven. Some people are more, sales and out in the go. And it's really the ability for us to communicate in the forms that are most convenient or easy for us. So some people, that's a lot of text messaging. Some people, that's video calls. Sometimes that's us being able to collaborate and work seamlessly as a team. So a lot of the products that I go through, we talk, hosted phone systems, unified communications, UCAS. All those things. They're basically all intertwined, and it's really the ability for us to communicate on whatever forms are best. We see that even as when we're business owners. How do we connect with our clients? How do they want to communicate with us? We've got a lot of millennials that love to communicate via social media platforms. Phone systems can even take them where they can reach out to us through Facebook, and I can be sitting at my desk and answering basically phone calls while they're reaching out on their Twitter or their Instagram or whatever it may be.
I have to interrupt you. I got that. Okay, so it's the weirdest thing. So yesterday I got a phone call, and it was quite fast. The voice sounded very, very tinny, and it was another distributor of promotional products trying to sell me, which is totally fine. But I thought, he's talking way too fast. The sound was horrible. So I called him up to say hello to him. And I said, I hope you don't mind. I just want to let you know that you speak very fast. And I really didn't understand, but I love the industry, and I love that you called me. And so, but I wanted to let you know that. And he's like, oh, he goes, I use a service that sends out thousands of these calls. And I'm like, oh my God, are you getting any replies back? And he's like, no, not really. And I'm like, I think it's because it was not a very good form of communication. I'm like, again, very fast, very tinny. Some of the words I didn't even understand. And so he said to me, would you mind forwarding it to me? So I have a feeling he's probably going to complain to the service that he used. But I had no idea that when I took that call that it was a voice message that went right directly to my voicemail then. And because it would have been a pre-recorded voicemail message. Does it go right directly to? So would they actually not go, could I have answered that live, or would it have gone right directly to voicemail?
I think it's a lot of what you're setting up. When those calls are coming in, they're pre-scripted to automatically go through. A lot of that's how are we trying to reach our people? Call centers give us the ability to really dictate how all that stuff goes. We can go through where we have a live agent on a phone, and he's really scripted with Q&As all the way through. If somebody says this, we're able to, start getting information for them or really engage in their conversation. So I mean, communications can be as in depth or as minimal as we want, you know, and it's really, how are we trying to do it? You know, I mean, are we trying to reach 200 people in an hour? Or are we trying to have more local, personalized conversations? And that's really where that's my job, is to really sit down and talk with people. What are you trying to do? What do you want to accomplish? Do you just want to leave messages? You know, I mean, we see it in email blasts, or, you know, through the use of CRMs. How do I connect with all these people I know and just say, hey, I'm here. I want to connect with you. And I just want to say, hey. So sometimes that's the communication we're trying to start with. It's just to get some feelers out, to get some people to call back. Other times we want to have those, you know, those in-depth conversations and be able to have these one-on-one conversations. And we do that as well. So a lot of it's just business model and how people really want to connect with one another.
Wow.
Communications messenger or what, but
you should do. This is a really interesting topic, actually. So my daughter, I have had the Galaxy S Plus 9, and you know what? I've had it. I don't drop my phone, but my little 13-year-old, dropped my phone and it cracked. And then yesterday, it was weird. Last night, she's talking to me and she's like, "You need to get the iPhone 11, whatever." And I noticed that my phone had another crack on it and a line. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't have a choice now. My phone is now in a situation where it'll stop working." So I ordered the iPhone Mac Pro, the iPhone 11 Mac Pro. No idea. Mm-hmm. But my concern is like, oh crap, like if I don't, and I'm not that type of person. I don't want to be like, oh, you can only communicate with me by email. Please don't send me text messages. Please don't send me messengers. I'll get confused. I'm like, no, I don't care. Just communicate with me. I'll take any way that you send it to me and I'll figure it out. So like at the end of the day, I've got to go back and make sure that I will go through all my text messages. And I'm hoping the Mac Pro will be a good one, the iPhone. But I think as a salesperson, you should, you know, good etiquette is that you would take a sale no matter how they're going to give it to you and not dictate to your customer how you want to be communicated on. But what do you think about that? Do you think that the client should dictate the communication, or the person receiving, the salesperson, should dictate how they are communicated with?
Well, I think honestly, if we want to be successful, I think we need to communicate how the client does. You know, if I just say the only way you're going to talk to me is calling me, I'm selling myself short, and I'm losing customers. There are too many options out there today. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a carpet company. If you're not eligible to receive communication from people on whatever platform they're using, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities. Because sometimes it's not even whether I like your carpet or the price. It's the ease for me. You know, we've gotten to busier lives, and we want to communicate what's easiest and most comfortable for me. And if I don't have a business that's able to do that, I'll find another business that does. So as business owners or salespeople, I really got to play on their level. And that's where, you know, unified communication, we talk to what's the most important part about communication? It's being able to do that on all platforms. There's some people that just sit in front of their desk and, you know, they don't leave. I mean, phone systems, I can send text messages from my computer. You know, that's not things that we thought of in the past. You know, and it's really, how am I reaching those people? You know, because I got to do it on what's comfortable with them. Yeah.
I literally had no idea you do this, and now that I know, I think that I really could use your help. I think that's great. So I need to like get a package or however you do that, because. And have you seen the new like Google in our industry? We have a really cool thing where I could go online and I could go into like a Google Hangout or maybe Google Duo, and I could go to the trade show. So next thing I know, I'm in their home and they've got their trade show booth, and it's like these open trade shows that are so cool. And I could look at the product and see, I can't feel it or touch it or taste it, but I could like look at it, and it's really cool. But I'm confused. Is it Google Hangouts and Google Duo? And then what do you think about the Google phone, like how the Google phone is?
So, I mean, I think they all serve their purpose. Really, you know, I mean, everybody's business is different. And we ultimately want to look at what is your main source of communication? What are you as a business owner trying to accomplish? I mean, I'm a G Suite man. I mean, I've got G Suite, and so I use a lot of Google products, Google Hangouts. Those are great, secure platforms to be able to do this. And as we see, instead of constantly trying to find the next home show or stuff like that, people are able to have home shows once a week without a show because I can do that through these platforms. So it gives, it just opened up my base. And if I sell a product, like for example, I mean, most of my products are available internationally. So if I'm just focused on what's here in Ormond Beach, Daytona area, what am I doing for the person that's in Italy that needs some help, and has reached out to me or knows me from a secondary source? We can do that. I mean, I may have a lot of clients. You may have a lot of clients where you're doing a home show and somebody in California is opening, purchasing a lot of products from you. They like you, they like that. So they, with doing these kind of services and the Hangouts and opening that up, we open up our marketplace. I'm no longer constricted by my physical location because my employees can be anywhere. My customers can be anywhere. And it truly allows me to help the most amount of people that I can.
You know what? I think this is a good presentation. This is a great workshop presentation. I really do believe this. I think that, I think I'm computer savvy and tech savvy, but that's the one thing I'm not savvy about is the other forms. So if you are, you should really talk to Ken about creating a workshop about this. And I could ask Jason from SCORE if there would be an interest, because I think that this is a piece that I don't hear a lot about. And by the way, I just got an email that said, here's your bill for the G Suite. And I'm like, do I have the G Suite? Now I'm all confused. And how much should I be paying for the G Suite? And I don't know if that was a scam or not. So I'm like, I don't remember signing up. So I'm very like, I didn't pay it, or I don't know.
Yeah. So, and it's just like anything else when we're looking at that. There are free products. I mean, Gmail is a free product. G Suites is a business platform that really ties all those applications together and allows, better business continuity.
Like what application? Because I use a Chromebook, so I already have their Google Docs and stuff like that. What else would be included in the G Suite?
So it's the ability for my users to be able to have multiple people in there. If I'm creating emails or domains that are coming in for my email accounts. For example, mine is at toewscommunications.com, not christoews@gmail.com. So some of those pieces that come into play when I have my entire business. So my father works with me a lot, and he does some marketing pieces. So he's got his own email, but it allows us within one platform to be able to communicate together, to be able to file share together, and just, collaboration that goes in. Now, a lot of those pieces, you can still do OneDrive and share that documentation, but within an organization, I kind of get the ability for people to see what they want, what I want them to see, and us to work on certain pieces together. So
I don't think I have that. I don't know. It was probably maybe a scam that I got that they said. I didn't click anything because I'm like, I don't think I have. I am with the leadership. We have a group me, and we use Google Shared.
Yeah, Google Hangouts and stuff like that. So some of that is just your ability to be able to link, am I accessing those things? But we look at it. They're fairly inexpensive. Your normal, just a standard business plans runs you $5 to $6 a month, whether you can find a coupon or not. The business portfolio is anywhere between $10 to $12 a month. But it really just opens up and makes that as a solid business entity with it. Microsoft, everybody had, when we looked at Microsoft, for example, with some of their products, they've got Office 365. Now we've got Microsoft Teams that are out there.
That? My daughter uses that. Wait, so Volusia County School so they signed a contract with Microsoft Teams, because that's how they seem to. Is that similar to Zoom?
No, yes, it is. It's a platform. Honestly, when you go into like a Microsoft Teams, we got a lot more security in place than just a standard Zoom meeting. We've had a lot of conversations that have come up with the Zoom bombing and some of that. We've taken all these video conferencing that we used and we took them home. When they were in a school, they had firewalls in place. Now we've got teachers working out of their house that don't have the same security measures. So they've really went to the Microsoft Teams because it keeps those classrooms secure. Microsoft offers those things. Same way when you're looking at Google Hangouts. similar product. I mean, we're just looking at, Apple versus, a Microsoft product. So, we just look at different avenues to be able to do that. But definitely a lot more security within those when we're instead of using an open source free platform. YouTube is changing their security measures. Zoom is changing their security measers.
We look at open source. Is this an open source platform? Be Live?
I would have to look at it. I haven't. It's the first time I've been on it. I'm assuming. I mean, if you have an account, you've got some kind of security measures with it. But anytime we're using free services, I mean, we're on an open internet source. We're passing out passwords that are available for people just to type in and join in on meetings. So we really want to keep that information secure. Like I said, I didn't see your side of it. I haven't used this particular product, and I haven't seen your administrative side of it to see what security things they have in place.
I do pay for it. I pay $29, but I will tell you that they don't have customer support very well. So I noticed that, and then I found a Facebook group that, like, the Be Livers, they call them, and most of the time they're complaining about that. I'm only using it because it's so easy. Like, literally, it's like a kindergarten, and they're like little icons, and there's only like 7 of them. And so I'm like, this is so easy. Carmen has her logo on the back of hers. I'm like, that's so cool. But I'm telling you, Chris, you have really good information here. I could talk to you for hours because this is so interesting. I will tell you that last night I got bullied badly into getting the iPro Mac. And then I had that feeling like I made a mistake because I don't know anything about Mac. And now I got to learn a new way of communicating using a program because I've been a Samsung girl. But my daughter, she was bullying me. She literally stood and she's like, you need to try something new. You need to do new things. You're like boring because you don't. And I'm like, oh my God, just stop it. My daughter, I'm like, I don't. And then I woke up this morning. I'm like, hello, Sprint. And they're like, it's in the warehouse thing. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm not gonna. That's when you get all messed up when you try to change the direction of something. But now I'm thinking I'm gonna get this phone. I don't know. Does iMac and Google get along together?
So I mean, I use Google apps on my iPhone all the time. One of the things, Apple is not an open source. Like when you were using your Samsung phone, you were really able to customize it a lot for what was important to you. Apple has great functionality and makes it very user friendly. So just like you were using this program and it had just a couple little icons, Apple does that a lot. So I think you're going to find the switch over very easy. I've had Apple phones since they started coming out, and I love them just because of the ease of use. You talk to a lot of IT guys, and they would prefer having a different phone because it gives them a lot more customability on their phone. I just like the ease of use. Mine's a communication. I can download my apps really easy. It still allows for all my communications and applications to be in the place and do what they're supposed to do. So
I have a question. Why did it offer me different levels of storage? And of course, why wouldn't I pick the highest storage, which is what I did, I think. Uh-oh. Oh no. Is it the higher number or the lower number that's higher?
The higher.
Oh,
so you were good. You picked. Yeah. So, I mean, we keep so much more data on our phones. And it depends, are you putting your information in the cloud? Some people, download regularly. Some people just store everything on their phone. So I've got files that I'm keeping. I've got, 3 different emails that I'm keeping track of. I've got photos, I'm constantly taking photographs and music. What does that look like? So you want to have more storage available to really not bog out your phone where you're like, okay, what do I got to erase now to keep going? That storage level keeps getting higher and higher and higher. But, you can have a low storage on your phone and download everything to your cloud and your files are safe there, They
didn't charge extra for the higher storage. Why not? I thought that was weird.
Honestly, that's great to know. I don't know. Usually they do. I think you've seen a couple different platforms. I think it's just evolving so quickly. I've got the iPhone X and it's outdated. We're already at the second version of the 11. I've only had my phone for a year. So typically I've seen that there were some different, storage levels, but I'd seen a difference in price with some of those too. So I think it's just keeping up with the marketplace. What do we have? What are people going to pay for? We want to be able to make some functionality with them and be able to accomplish what everybody's looking for. Everybody's different, some people don't take the phone. Some people aren't using, as much storage on their phone. Mine, I need a higher storage level just because of everything that I'm doing on it. But it's different, do
you have a Mac computer? Do you have a Mac computer?
I actually have an HP for my laptop now. I have a Mac for my home computer. So, yeah, and I love the Apple products, but I went with both ways. It's just the nuances. What's that screen look like? Some of those things. You find just like when I had just switched over from 365 to G Suites. Email's email, but how we label those things, how it looks, how we set it up are just a little different. So, when you get into them, just like you'll see that everything you had on your old phone will be available on your Apple. It's just, how do I get to it? And once you get comfortable with the screen, it's going to be great.
My question then would be like, well, how do you switch over? I think that this should be a Q&A conversation too, so that everyone can like have those questions and then they send it to you. Like a communication town hall meeting, because how would I switch my Office 365 to the G Suite without losing anything? So there's like so many questions that oh my God. I like learning this stuff though. I find this really interesting, but I want to go back. I don't want to keep you too long, but I want to thank you for your commitment to Healthy Souls. Maria's amazing, isn't she?
Yeah, she's amazing. I love all the work she's doing. Fantastic. It's so hard. She asks me to do stuff all the time, and I'm like, how do you say no? I just love everything she's doing. Even when you look at a company that was helping out internationally in their main focus, when she started off doing, relief in the Bahamas after the hurricanes, and then Puerto Rico with the earthquakes, and now she hasn't skipped a beat, and she's helping here locally. It's really about giving back to those in need, and it's a great cause. I love being part of that stuff with her. We talk on a regular basis just to see what's going on. And like I said, I just tell her, keep going. You're amazing and you're doing wonderful things. So keep it up.
I think that what we should do, and maybe you can help do this, is that we create maybe Jamie can help too. So some of the people that are always doing everything, but to create a hometown hero award program for Daytona Beach, and then everyone that has been doing such amazing work that we just honor them, whether it's a luncheon or whatever we could do, because there's so many people that are really going above and beyond, whether they're feeding the children, they're feeding, Maria's taking the most vulnerable, feeding the healthcare, and do some kind of our own, because we can't really, I did apply for Maria to go on CNN Hero because she is, to me, a hometown hero. But I don't want anyone to know that I did that. But anyway, oops.
Too late.
CNN Heroes, please put down Maria Davila because she deserves it. But don't say that I told you. But I really think that this is something. Maybe I'll talk to the chamber. Maybe make sure that they include that in something that they do next. And because just unbelievable. I'm not leaving my house. I'm trying to help everything on the back. I tried to do the talent show, but we didn't really get any talent. So unfortunately, that's or maybe I did it wrong with the communication, because I think everything comes down to communication. That can make or break a company easily, how they communicate.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't know if it was necessarily, communication is key. But honestly, everybody's in information overload right now too. We're concerned about what's going on with the government, what this looks like, and what loans are out there, and what is the financial status. I try and check the news. I don't try and watch the news. There's a difference. I've just got to try and minimize that. I've got 170 suppliers I work with. I was probably getting 2 emails a week from every supplier about what we're doing for a remote workforce and how do we, change how we're doing this to all these individual people that are now going out, because as a company, we're maybe not making those long-term changes yet, but individuals are trying to go out and keep things going. So it can really be some information overload for people. And I loved your idea about having dinner, but honestly, I don't know if we could get a big enough space for all the hometown heroes we have.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I have seen just you know, I mean, despite all the turmoil that's here, I have seen love come from so many people, you know, I mean, whether it's contacting your neighbors down the street that's elderly and see if you can go to the store, and, you know, people raising food drives in the schools, and, you know, just the love that everybody has for everybody else has been incredible. You know, I've been so wowed during this whole quarantine time by, you know, just how everybody's helping out. And I've seen it all over the place. I mean, it just doesn't stop. You see the next person doing stuff, you know, and I, you know, I mean, it's been so much on my news feed that I just try and help out what they're doing. I haven't even put anything together myself because you just love seeing it. People buying masks and fundraising to get stuff to the first responders, and, you know, all the work they're putting on. You just can't say enough praise for what everybody's doing during this crisis.
You really can't. And we're still preparing for the Stride Block in October, which I'm excited about. So, Chris, thank you. So I asked you to do the same thing, hashtag show off your friends, because we all want to meet each other friends, and especially those that maybe don't live in the area. Maybe some of your homies from Chicago area. That
is awesome.
But I think that's
Adrienne,
cool.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you taking the time. It's great seeing you, and I appreciate all the work you're doing. It's great to see all these conversations and getting to know people that I wasn't aware of, and it just allows us to meet other people, and it has truly been a blessing. I can't thank you enough for all the work you're doing.
So sweet. Please let's talk. Like, get a workshop going. I know that this is great. You have a lot of great ideas, information.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Adrienne. And like I said, I look forward to you. You have a wonderful day, blessed day, and stay safe out there. We'll talk to you soon.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.